Welcome to Charts This Week. My name's David Linton. I run Updata, and this week's edition for Monday the 24th of October comes to you from London. And we start as always looking at energy markets. We look at crude first, and we see on the Brent chart here that we're really just still nudging this 52.50 level. The correlation with the dollar is just steadily increasing, so we are just seeing that correlation creeping positive. Strong dollar, strong crude. Now, the traditional relationship is the reverse of that, but we are in a phase at the moment on the 65-day correlation where the two products are correlated. So keep an eye on the currencies as well. We are bullish above the cloud. The seasonality is bearish. We normally expect crude to be falling at this time of year, so we are bucking the seasonal trend. But we are also struggling to get above this 52, 50, 53 level and hold it. But we are bullish nonetheless, and looking at the long-term target potential, we do have on the half dollar chart a target of 67.50, so taking us back to the mid-70s. So it may well be that we see crude in bucking the trend rising up towards that target. We wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of the move in the first quarter next year, because that's when crude is strongest. We are just slowly bearish below the cloud on the 60-minute chart. We've had this sort of run and then the sideways consolidation, and we see the range here at the moment at about 53 to $51 on Brent. And press the T key on your system for the targets. 54.70 is the upside target. That's 6% away. We do have a downside target about 8% away, 47.60, but we need to move below 51 really for that to be activated. So keep an eye on those short-term charts. If we look at WTI, much the same picture, slightly more bullish on this chart than the other one we were just looking at. Press the T key again, upside target of 9% to mid-50s on WTI, so that's just looking a little bit better. Keep an eye on the 1-minute chart. That's where, of course, the picture will change most dramatically. Keep an eye on the trends and targets. But notice we do have more upside targets at the moment to play for, so the crude picture is looking still quite bullish for this week. But watch those short-term charts for any quick changes. If we look at US nat gas, back below $3, so we didn't manage to hold that $3 mark, having had a good run into the mid-330s. We see here we're below the cloud on the 60-minute. This is the daily, we're above. The weekly chart is also really interesting. We are seeing signs of the move through a new trend opening up on nat gas, so that is interesting. And the seasonal behavior is a bit better at this time of year. Not stellar, but we do see that gas normally has its falls before now, so that's the interesting aspect of the seasonal trend. On the medium-term chart, just press short-term chart, 60-minute, we do have a downside target to 287, but really the 1-minute chart is where you're going to see the action, and we do have this 280 downside target, which has just been activated now as we speak, with new lows just below this 296 level. So potential for 5% downside implies that nat gas may not have as good a week this week. Looking at European gas, MBP front month looking very bullish, above the cloud. The correlation here with crude, this price is here coming off Trayport or or the Updata energy feed, and the lower chart is coming from Thomson Reuters Icon, correlated with that OTC data. So you're bringing two sets of data in, and we can just see the correlation is increasing such that we will start to follow Brent again. We see here that on the 60-minute chart we are just continuing this quite strong trend, and if we press the T key on your OTC data, you see here we have got upside targets to 49, 47, 95 and 48. These were given right back in the low 40s back in September. That's where we're going. You really cannot ignore these targets when you see them. And the 1-minute chart is, of course, a lot of OTC data. Press the T key on your system, and here we see the targets for the 1-minute chart. So if you're trading MBP short term, this is the chart to be watching, 1% and 3% upside targets. So that's looking good as well. Here we see TTF. We're above on the cloud here on the month, on the 60-minute chart as well on front month. The T key shows us we do have we've pretty well reached all our targets, so you'll need to go to the 1 minute charts for looking for new targets there. But overall, gas market's looking pretty bullish still this week. Power, much the same. German power, this is the weekly chart. For the first time in many years, we're seeing a move above that. I'm speaking at the EMARC conference next week and in Amsterdam, and I will be talking a lot about what's going on with the technicals in the power markets. But we can see here that we do have this move above the cloud. The daily as well, and if we just look at the upside targets on the daily, really bullish action here. Press the T key. We do have an upside target to 38. That's about 16% further from here. So that's the first target to play for. And if we look at the 1 minute chart, of course, this is where the trade. If you're trading power, this is where you'll get your heads up of the next moves. And again, it's looking pretty bullish this week. So. French power again, much the same picture, looking really good above the cloud here, running to new highs. Structural reasons behind that for sure, but the fact is technically this chart now looks amazing, making new highs. And we see here on the 60-minute chart this sort of ascending triangle action breaking out. Press the T key. What are the targets on this chart? And we see here we've got upside targets into the mid 40s, so French power still got much further to run. So Italian power making new highs as well, UK power also. So power markets generally looking pretty good all round. If we look at currencies, we mentioned that the dollar was really important. Dollar looking really strong on the daily chart. Just pulling back a little bit on the 60-minute chart, but we are seeing upside potential here. This dollar chart is really quite significant. If we look at the targets for the dollar, we see that we've got upside potential here, massive upside target here of 140 if we make new highs, and that's on the dollar index. So potentially next year is a really big year for the dollar. So that's quite key. Euro, we're seeing really falling away here, breaking below the July lows. We're seeing that on the 60-minute chart as well. So really quite key. And if we take a look at the 1 minute chart, just press the T key on your system. We're seeing here downside targets as well. 107 is the sort of current short-term target. So another bad week for the euro potentially kicking in there. And of course, sterling has been the big story. 122.37 this morning, below the cloud on the 60-minute. And then if we wanted to take a quick look at the targets there, see how we're mostly flat compared to the big moves that we saw previously. But here are the targets. We do have a little bit of recovery potential, but downside targets here, and of course a lot of resistance all the way down. So just be aware of that. Euro sterling, seeing that falling away as well. We were as high as 90. So the sterling is just strengthening at the moment. Slightly stronger hand. Euro weakening basically is what we're seeing at the moment. So buying slightly less krona, and the Swiss franc as well. So keep an eye on those short-term charts this week, but it looks like more dollar strength, euro weakness. Last of all, we take a look at markets. S&P 500. We see here that we see here on the S&P we've got prices here just showing that we're bullish above the cloud, just coming through on the 60-minute chart, but that's quite key. If we look at the Nasdaq, we do see here that we've got bullish on all time frames, bullish on the short term, so that is also looking pretty good. Markets generally looking quite a bit better at the start of this week than they were a week or two ago. Just the short-term charts all starting to wander through. Upside on the FTSE, staying above the 7,000 level now, that's quite key. Take a look at the DAX. DAX is up nearly 1% this morning. That long-term chart just improving slightly, and again quite a big break to the upside here on the short term. So all looking quite a lot better. Tokyo, much the same picture, just seeing improvements here. Long-term charts on the Asian markets not looking as good, but the short-term charts all showing much the same picture. We look here at the Chinese market up 1.2% overnight, again just starting to run now, so we're seeing that as well. Last of all, we take a look at gold. one of the proxies for just market sentiment, always worth looking at. Bullish on the long term, bearish on the medium term, but bullish on the short term again. Upside targets 1296, 1312. We're seeing a target if we can make new highs. So gold just starting to look a little bit better. That's it for this week. Until next week, happy charting. See you then.